right, welcome to episode number 6 of our listing management series. This topic that we're going to cover today is something that I remember learning pretty early on in my real estate career working with sellers. And of course, what we're going to do today is brush it off a little bit and also tweak it and add to it a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this conversation with you today, Dylan.
The 4 Ps of marketing was what I learned in my college degree.
Okay.
Early on as well. And so we modified that to be something that became intrinsic to real estate. We made it the 3 Ps because one of the 4 actually didn't apply.
Yeah, okay.
And ironically,
now it's back
we're
to 4.
bringing another P back today.
Okay, because the 4th one is definitely new to me, and I think it's very apropos of the market right now. So I'm looking forward to it's fun to add another one.
Just if we can start by celebrating that you used the word apropos.
Oh, well, sometimes the good vocabulary comes out. We'll see. Yeah, so you called it out. We are talking through the 3 Ps of marketing, adding a 4th, which I think is fun. But yeah, product, price, promotion, the 3 Ps. And these have always really just stuck out to me as being important conversations to think through. Like I literally see kind of the old picture, the old pie graph of the 3 things and the importance of having a conversation with your seller about these things. So we're kind of taking the agent approach, understanding what they are, and then how you communicate it to your client today.
I was processing that this morning. It's kind of like there's a couple of things we're trying to do here, and I'm not even sure which one's the more important or the more interesting, and maybe it'll be different for everyone. But on the one hand, we are covering this in the context of thinking about seller conversations.
Yeah.
How do some of us need to integrate the 3 Ps into our presentation,
yes.
and we need to use it as a psychological tool and a framework for sellers to have better philosophical thinking. But for some of us, it might not be as literal as that. It might not be that we need to have 3 Ps in our literal script. It's just that we need to wrestle through this 3P idea in order to maybe align our thinking better on what it actually takes to sell houses and how this process actually works, so that we have a better strategy, regardless of whether we communicate with this language.
Yeah, actually, it is the 3 things you're doing. I am the nerd who does take it and put it into my script, but yeah, it really is about your understanding to move forward for your strategy.
I used to talk through the 3 Ps with every seller up front. It was in my presentation, and I think it, as much as it helps our thinking, it also helps align a seller's thinking.
Yep, 100%. We're on the same page.
It creates a framework for thinking about what's actually happening here and what works and what doesn't and what matters and what doesn't.
Yeah, so, absolutely. So let's talk through each. I give some context and think through kind of how we communicate this to our sellers as well. So yeah, first one, let's just talk through product. Give me some insight on the word product.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Well, what's unique about real estate is, it's interesting. We don't actually sell houses. We actually sell our services.
Yeah, we really do.
In the context of this discussion with a seller, the first P is the product, and that's their house.
Their house. Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about our product, unlike any other marketing conversation that we'd be having, we don't get to pick the product.
No.
The product's fixed. The product's there. Now, the product's the house, but it's more than the house, right? It's the house. It's the amenities. Maybe it's a condo association that has fees. That's part of the product.
Yeah,
it's got
absolutely.
a pool. That's part of the product.
Yeah.
It's the neighborhood, it's the condition, it's the age. All of that is the product. And
I like that you said you're not walking into you don't get to pick it. Like you literally show up at this is what I have to work with, right? Like that's the product.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Because then that's the next part is, well, what of the product can we change? Whereas in real marketing world, the whole idea behind marketing is that it's distinct from advertising. Advertising, you take an existing product and you promote it to the world. But in real marketing, you build a product for a group of a target audience.
Target audience, yep. Mm-hmm.
But with real estate, we really already do have a product.
Yeah, you do.
We don't get to tailor it. We don't get to tweak it. We don't get to change it.
But
the few things that we can do to spruce it up, sometimes putting lipstick on a pig, and sometimes just really refining it so that it's got its best foot forward.
Yes.
Yeah, so staging and landscaping, I think, is a huge one.
Oh yeah, curb appeal on that one for sure.
Decluttering, and then sometimes you really can look at a seller and say, well, we're missing a bedroom here, and we could do an expansion.
Consider things that you can change.
99.9% of the time, no, we're not going to add a bedroom. So, okay, this is the product we're working with. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think the first P, product, matters because this is an algorithm and we're thinking through how things sell in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And one of the options to get more sales, and in this case to sell the house, is improvement of the product. And we always have to start there because, well, we're going to, later on down the line, like next week when we talk, we're going to talk about adjusting prices.
Yeah.
And before we ever go there, we always have to be doing, how is the product and what can we do to tweak it and what can we do to make sure that the product is well aligned with what customers are currently looking for.
Yeah.
And so I think the real point on product, though, is in our seller dialogues and discussions to be intentional and proactive about anything we can do to make our product as appealing as is humanly possible.
Yep.
And that in this market, the product has to be pristine.
Yep.
So if you go back 2 or 3 years, different environment, you really could put a slightly smelly, stinky, not well-presented product into the marketplace. And just the sheer volume of demand and the sheer lack of supply meant that even bad products would sell pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And in this environment, we have to be meticulous and particular about our product. We should take more time and intentionality to work with every seller to have the product market ready. And that the levers that we do have, we do need to make sure we're pulling up front. And part of that is because when we need to pull the other levers, and we need to ensure that we've done our due diligence working with our sellers to make sure that the first P is good. Before we start talking about price or anything else, how's our product? So thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I like how you said best foot forward, because this really is about setting it up for success through some of the other things that we're going to talk about in promotion, but it gets it ready for the public to see for the first time, right? And then the product along the way during the weekly communication that you're doing that we talked about last time, you're going, okay, what is maybe some of the feedback? Listen to that. Maybe there are a few more things that we can add and change to this product, but really it is best foot forward right away. And in particular in this market, yes, buyers are not looking for things that still need work. I really believe that, because they're spending every last penny just getting to their down payment and then what their monthly payments are going to be.
And at some point, make sure we run through this script.
The whole thing.
Holistically.
Yeah.
Because I think that in that context, the discussion around product starts to make sense. Part of covering product with our sellers is to create a groundwork or a framework for, because they want us to market their home, and we're going to be discussing with them how to realistically price it.
Yep.
But first, we really have to help them understand there are not limitations, but the product is fixed.
There is a finite list of things that you can maybe change in the product.
And we should.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that those are handled. But it creates a context of realism given the product that we have to deal with. We need to now go and look at our strategy of how to position it and how to promote it.
Yeah. The way I've always thought about this one was like, if it's on a busy road, that's not something you can change in the product. So what else can you do to the product to get it to its best foot forward?
I think that this idea of people make decisions emotionally and justify them rationally maybe is worth bringing up here.
Yeah.
In this environment right now, one of the reasons product is so important is buyers are really not that motivated.
Nope.
There's a decent pool of buyers. It's not a terrible market, but they've got more and more options. Rates and prices are still high enough that they're not jumping at any opportunity. No. And we know that they've been skittish for a while. That's why inspections are failing and stuff like that. In that environment, you've got to understand when people walk in a house, they're going to come up with 10 reasons why this is the one they selected. But the truth is, when they walk in, there's a feeling that happens.
Oh, absolutely.
There's an emotion. And it's got to do with subliminally and cognitively, I can picture.
Yes, I can see myself.
I can feel living here.
Yeah.
And then what they do is you're like, yeah, but this one only has a 2-car garage. Yeah. And they're like, all of a sudden, well, rationally, we're okay. We can get rid of one of the cars. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
But the truth is people make decisions emotionally and they justify them rationally. And this is why the smell of cat pee, or this is why clutter in a property, or this is why having things not well staged is absolutely crucial in this environment. Yes. Because unless it hits every one of their emotional buttons, they're going to, in this environment, just keep moving.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's so key for you as an agent, but also sellers to understand. We're trying to, this is why the smell of cookies matters, because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, and I appropriate that towards the house.
Yeah, so. Really good. So product, it is what it is. Do what you can, and there is a kind of a finite list, but help your sellers understand why that's so important in this environment. Price, I think we have talked through price in other contexts, but in this context of the 3 Ps, give us a little insight on, why this portion of the pie in this context.
Well, in the context of talking to our sellers, we're helping them understand their product is what it is.
Yep.
We didn't build it. There's a few things we can do to change it. The next part of the dialogue or the discussion is, guys, price, without a question, is the number one most important factor in the sale of your house.
Yes.
Price is the thing it's your number one most valuable marketing tool.
Yeah, it's a thing I always say, the thing that we have the most control over.
I like that as well. Yeah. We have control over it, maybe more than other things. The way I think of price and the way I used to describe this is I would say, guys, there's a price at which everything sells, first of all. And let's say that they've got a $200,000 property. I'd say, hey, if we listed this property today for, let's say, $250,000, do you think it would sell, or how long? And the answer would be, well, no, I don't think we'd get any showings. And I think, yes. So there's a price at which we wouldn't get interest, we wouldn't get activity, and we certainly wouldn't get offers.
Yeah.
And if we put it on the market today for the 150, what would happen?
Do you think we would? Yeah.
Well, there'd be offers. Yeah, we'd have a slew of. So right there, without any discussion about marketing, exposure, or anything else, given the product that we have, because that was our first benchmark.
Yep.
The price is going to be the number one most important determining factor of how much interest and then offers and eventually sale, contracts we get. And this is crucial for them to understand because, again, we're leading towards here's what I'm going to go do to market the product that is at the price that you selected.
Yep.
And then I'm going to take those two things and do my best to gain the maximum amount of exposure. But it's crucial psychologically for our sellers in these discussions to understand, I didn't build the house and you kind of didn't build the house. The house is what it is. What can we do to make it as good as we can? And then price is going to be the number one determining factor. And the final part of that script is I would say, there's a price at which with no exposure, your house sells. And here's how I can prove it to you. I'd say, let's just say hypothetically, you'd be willing to list the house for like $50,000 today. And we told no one about it. Do you think it'd sell? And I'd give them the answer. I'd say the answer is yes. And here's why. I'll write you a check today.
Yes.
So all we're trying to do there in laying the groundwork is help sellers understand that we're not trying to beat them over the head 2 months from now on price. It's not that we're lazy and we're not promoting the property because we're getting to promotion. It's that regardless of promotion, price is the thing that determines what this product, whatever it might be, sells. And there's a price at which even the ugliest pig
will sell,
right?
Yeah.
And there's a price at which the most perfect, pristine home, it doesn't matter what you did.
Yes.
The sun rises at the perfect angle. I get it. It smells like cookies 24/7 and everything you've done is gold. There's a price at which it just won't sell.
It's not going to sell anyway. Yeah.
And so I think that's the impetus here. There's a strategic dialogue here on the product is, let's make it great. The price is your call. There's a price at which we work our way out of the market, and there's a price at which we give too much away. And the game is going to be dialing in price as the number one marketing tool to ensure that we position this product in a way to maximize your potential, your ROI. But also don't scare the finite buyer pool away.
Yeah, and that's kind of the presentation. And this goes back to then digging into that competitive landscape and all the other things that you're going to do to talk through price separately from this conversation. But to me, it really is about that, not scaring the buyer pool away, one, and getting it in the right range where the most buyers who are most likely to buy this are going to at least see it for market exposure when you start to.
Which obviously you don't want to be too low.
Yes, yeah. I don't think that's the best strategy. No.
The other thought I have on this that I think is worth bringing up is a sentence. We don't really say this a lot, but I think it's prevalent now. Offers, and you can think the same way about traffic, but offers are a lagging indicator of good pricing. And if you think that through, what we're saying there is, I guess there's a misunderstanding or a frustration that happens in the mind of a seller where they're like, well, let's just price it a little high.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Because, maybe we can get a good price.
People maybe bring me something.
And then they get some showings, but then they get pissed off. They're like, but why aren't people bringing me offers? Just write me an offer.
Yep.
Like, I'll negotiate. And we tend to debate that with sellers a lot. I think offers are a lagging indicator of good pricing is a great way to help a seller understand that the psychology of this is maybe not what they would hope it would be.
Yes, it's not.
People don't tend to write $50,000 below asking price offers because that seems offensive. Frankly, they might not even see
No, they're not going to even look at,
So we need to understand that we don't get offers when we're not quite priced right yet. We have to dial pricing into the place that it's in the zone.
Where people would.
That's when offers start to show up.
Yes.
And I think that's more just to set the psychology right for a seller to stop being frustrated with the lack of results perhaps down the line. And maybe this is more of a price reduction
conversation that we'll go to next time. Yeah.
But I think it's good understanding, if not for the seller, I think it's a good understanding for you guys as agents right now to recognize in this environment, we can't be presuming that if we overprice slightly, it's okay. We'll get lowball offers and we'll marginally work our way down. We're not going to get offers in an environment where there's alternatives. There's significant alternatives, and buyer interest is just not that high. Now, down the line, that may start happening as buyers get more bold and as we see a market.
We're seeing some of that, but not really, not overall.
Yeah. If I'm counseling my friend or grandma at this point, I'm like, Grandma, make the product pristine, spend the money to get it like squeaky clean up front.
And let's position it in a place that
I would price aggressively in this environment.
Absolutely.
And I think these are consultative conversations we have to have. But look, the point here is the product is, let's make it great, and price is your number one most important marketing tool.
Yep.
And it's your call, right? And we're setting the stage here for the pricing conversation we're going to have down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to the next P, I think this is the one that you already kind of mentioned. Promotion is what they think they are hiring you for, right? So this promotion space is like, this is your job, right? You're going to do this. And one of the most important things that I didn't understand early on about promotion is that there are really two completely different reasons to promote, right? Like you have to separate this in your mind of what promotion is really doing. And that is not something I understood early. That one, there is promotion that sells the house, right? And then there is promotion that is primarily more for your lead generation and capturing more lead opportunity. So I think it's just really important to know that there are two different things that promotion does.
I'm just processing in real time here the extent to which I want to have that dialogue or discussion with my seller or not. But let's just start with us.
I think you have to understand that as an agent, yes.
Yeah, let's start philosophically on our end. Listing marketing falls into one of two buckets.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things we do that are there to sell the house.
Yes.
And there's a pyramid of this. Like there's a ranking structure here. I've already covered the first part of the pyramid, which is price. Given the product.
Yeah.
So the product's fixed. A product at some price sells. And so I think that's key to understand, regardless of any other promotion or lack thereof.
Yes.
I think the next step on the pyramid is that if you've got a product at a decent price or any price, the next most powerful lever we have is the MLS. Because what you've got in the MLS is hundreds or thousands of agents, depending on your MLS. But let's call it hundreds of agents, all of which have thousands of buyers.
Yes.
And so with nothing else, if you've got a product at a price and you stick it on the MLS, I would say that the significant majority of our capacity to sell houses falls into those buckets right there.
Completely agree.
Now, the other levers that matter, and I'll come back to, I know I'm jumping the gun, but I'll come back to the two buckets, right?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Sell versus promote.
Yep.
Because so far what I'm talking about is the things that actually sell houses.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
sells houses is the product,
price.
The price that you put it at, whether or not it's well positioned on the MLS.
Yep.
And then if I move down the pyramid, I'd say how we present it on the MLS matters.
Yes.
And not just how, but even when. So great pictures, and let's just think through, let's play this out. It shows up on the MLS. It instantly feeds across in all sorts of searches that have already been structured by agents looking for something for their clients.
Yes.
And then filters out through auto campaigns.
Syndication site, yeah.
Well, before syndication
Oh, yeah,
sites.
they're auto. Yep, I got
auto
you.
searches to customers, to clients that are searching.
Yep.
And when it hits their inbox, let's say it's a daily or a weekly summary of new listings, it hits it with 3 or 4 other new listings in that price range.
Yep.
And when it hits, you get this one opportunity for the buyer to scroll through those 3 or 4 and go, whoa, remember, emotional, not justification, not rational. Whoa, this one's amazing.
And it's usually you got one picture with a few details.
And so pictures matter, because a great product at a good price with bad pictures will...
Or no picture.
Well, it's not going to get showings. Yeah, that's the other thing, is you need to make sure those pictures are positioned at the beginning.
Yes.
Because you get that one opportunity to distribute the property to this giant pool of hundreds of potential buyers at any given point. And you don't get that opportunity again.
Nope.
It doesn't redistribute later on when you add new pictures.
No, until you do a price adjustment, it does not go again.
I think pictures matter. I think I'll add to pictures property description. So I do, but I don't think when you scroll through your email, you're looking at the description. I think you're looking at the pictures.
Yep.
And the pictures, and same thing when you're scrolling through Zillow.
Yep.
It's the pictures that determine whether you read further.
First. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm placing that way above things like video, right? But price, MLS, pictures, and by the way, if you're following along,
this resource is really helpful.
Pick up the piece of paper. You got to take a look at it. It's super helpful. But the syndication sites, I think, is next on the list.
Yeah.
And that's because for years and years and years, the buyer pool has shifted. They're no longer dependent upon us. This changed 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They're in control of their own search. And that environment's changing maybe a little bit now because Zillow doesn't have all the listings. But for the most part, 90% of buyers are looking on Realtor.com or Zillow, maybe Homes.com, and they're controlling their own search, and they're telling us what they want to see.
Oh, 100%.
They've set up their own auto searches.
Yeah, absolutely they have.
So syndication absolutely matters. But again, think of the list that I've covered. Who of you aren't on the MLS? Who of you some of you aren't doing professional photos. I would say check yourself on that.
Yes, absolutely.
All of you have syndication, but you might need to think through just the timing of how things syndicate and make sure that they're flowing correctly and double check.
Make sure you check them. That's the thing that I feel like people are not remembering to go check those. They just assume that they are looking the way they should.
And then I'll add one more, and then I'll complete the bucket that I'm calling these are things that actually sell houses. Mm-hmm. And that would be video. And I put it on the between line. Yeah. And here's why. I think there's a lot of video on properties that has nothing to do with the property, is everything to do with the agent and their ego. When you do a selfie video, and 90% of what I see is your face swirling around in the living room, showing me the features, but I can't see the features. You did nothing to sell the house.
Actually sell the house.
You just made me look at your ugly mug for 3 minutes on Facebook. But when I think of, and I'll call out Chris Caramonte's video from
most recent
2
video
weeks
was
ago.
amazing.
It was brilliant. And it was brilliant because that video, it had him in it. And so people get to go, oh, it's Chris, the listing agent. Chris did a good job. So he gets his recognition. However, but what he did was feature the property.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the dial there. So video can certainly be used to sell houses. And by the way, if you ask Chris about that video, he'll tell you he's had that property on the market before and it didn't do well. That video, whether it's law of attraction or whether it's good marketing, doesn't matter. It's under contract.
I didn't know that part. That's amazing.
48 hours of that video.
I love that.
So video can sell houses because there are people on the toilet scrolling through social media right now that are not actively searching for real estate, but they're maybe thinking it through. They scroll, they see, they go, whoa, that's really nice. Cool. Maybe we should go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very little else has the power to do that.
Yeah.
So look, price, MLS, pictures, syndication, and video, I think are the things that sell houses. And then I think everything else that we do kind of falls into the second bucket. Now, I need to be careful here. The second bucket is marketing or promotion that really its principal focus is that it helps you as an agent generate leads.
More possible leads, yes.
And let's list those, like open houses. I don't think open houses sell houses. I think if you don't
the stat on that is very low.
Okay, so you've got a good product. It's at a good price. It's on the MLS. It's got good pictures, and it's feeding to syndication sites. I don't care if you do an open house or not. A good product at a decent price will sell.
Yep.
Same thing with, I would say, signs. Now, signs are important because you need to find them. But again, good price, good MLS, good pictures, no sign. You might have some confusion from agents.
Yeah, when they're driving up to the house, yeah.
But the house will still sell.
Yes.
The sign's partly there just to promote your name.
There's a reason we call them sign calls, right?
And the sign calls typically don't result in someone buying that house.
Nope.
So maybe I could put signs on the in-between as well.
Yeah.
But when I think of postcards, when I think of mailers, when I think of any kind of typical social media and print and all that stuff, the vast majority of those marketing efforts are there for us as agents to generate leads.
Yep.
And I'm not bashful about this. I don't think it's a bad thing to help sellers understand this because we're going to enter into conversations with them where they're going to be, I want more marketing, I want more marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think our job is to help our sellers understand what we do. And what we do is we help our sellers for their product at the price that they've selected, create the maximum amount of exposure that they can get to ready, willing, and able buyers. We can market, like I can run a billboard right now in Arizona for your property in Des Moines. But those aren't ready, willing, and able buyers for your property.
Yep.
Where are the ready, willing, and able buyers? They're working with agents on MLS.
On MLS.
They're looking on Zillow.
Yep.
And we need to position it super well so it's pretty and sexy when they see it for the first time. This is my job. And yes, there's other little things that you've heard that other agents do. And I know you really want me to run this in a magazine right now, but here's why this is a better allocation of time and resources for us to get better drone footage of your property instead. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'll say one more thing on that. None of those things stop the house from selling.
No. I mean, all those other efforts aren't going to inhibit it in
10,
any
10,
way.
20.
Yes.
Knock on the 5, 5, and 10 across the road.
All increasing the chances.
It's certainly possible that the neighbor wants to buy the house or they have a sister that wants to buy the house. Yep. But why are you really knocking on the door next door? And why are you really promoting your open house? Yeah. Because you're going to generate some other buyers who 1 in a million buy this house.
Yep.
But I forget the number,
999,000. Yeah.
Are going to, yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, 2 buckets, promotion. And what's my biggest point that I want to make here? One, you owe it to your seller to focus your marketing efforts on the things that actually
sell the house.
Promote it well.
Yes.
Our sellers are going to want other flashy things. And that's okay. Sometimes we give them the flashy things because it actually is okay. Us doing those flashy things, they promote our brand. They still kind of help the property sell.
And the seller does see you going to work for them too, I think, in those capacities.
It appeases the seller's desire sometimes to see that you're working.
Yep.
But never, what's the right word here? Never cave or never bend philosophically on your convictions about what actually matters.
Yeah, I agree.
What really matters is this pyramid. And I think you all need to develop your own convictions about that so that you can hold the line on making smart marketing decisions and allocating your financial resources to the marketing efforts that really matter.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was relating this even then back to, your weekly communication where we talked about make sure you are addressing each of these things, but make sure you're prioritizing. This pyramid is super helpful for me, prioritizing the conversation top down, right? Like when I'm thinking about even just the weekly communication update, this is kind of the prioritization of how I would communicate the things that are going on in each of these sections.
Well, and back to price for a second, it's what I'm trying to do here and again, we've taken 30 minutes to cover this. This is a 4-minute conversation.
Oh, absolutely, with your seller.
But what I'm setting the stage as I'm running through this conversation is I'm setting the stage for why I'm going to spend so much of my time with you dialing in how we position the property on price. I've got a great marketing plan. Here's how I make sure thousands of eyeballs will see your property. Show that to them. Cover it. Show your syndication coverage. Show your golden ruler data and show all that so that they, but ultimately we know that this battle is going to be won or lost given the product on how we position it. We know this.
Yes.
But the struggle that our sellers have is this is the argument that we get. This is the feedback we get from sellers. Here's what I felt. I felt that you came and you got me to list my house, and then immediately you just started beating me over the head on price. And it felt like really you did nothing. You're just beating me down so that eventually at some price.
I go to the price that you want.
And then the house sells. Yeah. What did you really do? You didn't work for me.
Yeah.
You just beat me down.
For sure.
Doing this conversation correctly is going to set the stage for understanding that no, the positioning of the product on price is exactly what you pay me to do.
Yeah, I help you navigate that part of it.
And I'm jumping the gun again, but I want to say this, not jumping the gun, but I don't know if we're covering this in a later conversation or not. When we discuss price with our sellers, we should never start with it. We should start with, here's the traffic we've had. This was last week's conversation.
Yep, weekly communication.
Here's the traffic we had. Here's what we're seeing in terms of activity. Here's what I've been working on the promotion.
Yes.
Here's the efforts I've made. Here's the stuff I've scheduled. They
do need to hear that. Yeah.
They need to know what you're doing on the promotion side. And then we can get to, here's a couple things maybe on the product that we've heard feedback that we can tweak. And then we can get the price. Because we've got to understand the psychology of, if we start with, you guys have got to drop the price, what they're hearing is, you're a lazy bones, you're not working hard for me, and you just want to beat me down. So this is intentional.
Yes.
Up front, I've had the 3 Ps, eventually here 4 in a minute.
Yep.
The 3 Ps conversation. I always then come back to the 3 Ps.
Referencing them along the way.
Because I set the stage on this. And then I never lead with price. I always work to show what I've done on my marketing, rediscuss what we can do to improve the product based on feedback, and then get to this dial that we need to get to.
So. And I guess I was framing the prioritization of the lever, the importance of that lever that you can pull. I think the reorientation of how you do that conversation is really important.
Sorry,
No.
The order of events is not, 100% price is the most important lever. Psychologically, we need to be careful
how we approach that
and constantly beating that drum.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I was super intrigued and excited about adding this 4th P, because again, I feel it really is very, very contextual to what's happening in the market. So our 4th P now is patience.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, I'm just making this up, right?
No, but it's so good. It is
for any marketers out there, the actual 4 Ps are product, price, promotion, and then like placement or position. And this is, think of a box of cereal. You put the Fruit Loops at the bottom shelf, and you put the granola at the top shelf. This is what marketers are taught, because the top shelf is where the moms are looking, and the kids' eyeballs can see the bottom shelf.
Exactly.
No, they literally do that. So go to a grocery store, take a look at where the Fruit Loops are.
Yeah.
I mean, secretly, I still really love Fruit Loops. The 4th P that we've made up is patience. And I think it's really the impetus of this entire series.
Oh, completely.
What we're saying is extended days on market, different environment, more inventory. I think the 4th P, patience, what I'm really trying to say here is there's some rewiring that needs to happen first in us and then eventually in our sellers to understand that time on market is not a picture of failing. Time on market is actually a necessary precondition to effectively marketing a property in a normalized market. You're all hardwired, not all, most of you are hardwired because of the 10 years that you've been selling to think that things come on market and they sell. That's because there were more buyers, fewer sellers. And so if something's on the market, there's so many people looking to buy and they're urgent that if it doesn't sell, it is by definition overpriced.
Yeah.
Because thousands of people saw one of few properties and they rejected it.
Yep. And our brains were wired to see that as a failure at that point.
Well, and it was.
Yep.
In a market where there's not thousands of buyers, but there's dozens of buyers for any given product at any given time, meaning in any given month, there aren't 10,000 people looking for your house. There's 10,000 people a year in any given market. And then there's only, let's call it 1,000 a month. And of that, only 100 of those are in your price bracket. And here's the thing, when there was only 5 properties, then if yours wasn't picked, clearly something's wrong with your product and your price. But when there's only 10 people buying a month and there's 10, 11, 12, 13 properties.
Choices,
Then what we're going to understand is that sitting on the market for 30 or 60 days is a necessary precondition to get the amount of exposure that you should rationally want over time to get to the right ideal buyer that you're wanting. So your property not selling in the first month doesn't mean your property's been rejected by the market. Your property not selling in the first month means that we haven't yet had enough eyeballs see your property for the right one to. Now, it could be overpriced.
There could be other things.
But it's not necessarily overpriced. And that's the difference, is that in this kind of environment, days on market needs to be thought through slightly differently. We can't categorically think that things are overpriced simply because they've sat on the market for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The truth is the critical mass of the number of eyeballs that need to see your property for a possible match to have occurred. I've got bad metaphors running through my head here, swipe left, swipe right. But if you only look at 3 profiles and you can't find a match, it doesn't mean the world doesn't have a match for you.
Yeah,
it means
maybe still out there.
You need to keep looking for a little bit.
Yes.
Well, it's the same in inverse. And so, sorry for that metaphor. For those of you that are online dating, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think, patience is the 4th P for now. I wouldn't communicate this necessarily to your sellers. I think the 3 Ps should be in your script and your dialogue. I think patience is something we should bring up as, hey guys, right now, part of success is knowing it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to read the market, and let's go back to last week's conversation, weekly updates. In 21 days, we're going to get back together and reassess, and maybe at that point, we'll look at our positioning. And, all of these discussions we've had over the last, 6 weeks?
Yes, 6 weeks.
This is sort of the culmination of all that. We need
Absolutely.
to start having product price promotion conversations. We need to be consultants in this. And we need to lay these breadcrumbs for our clients so that this is what empowering our sellers
looks like
to make informed decisions looks like.
Absolutely. And I really relate like you said, you don't have to point out the patience, the 4th P to me.
Because it's not a good thing to say, you need to be more patient.
Be more patient. Yeah. But I think that you're showing that in your competitive landscape conversation, in your market absorption conversation, you're showing this might feel like or look like through all of those other conversations that you're having. So I think you're laying the groundwork for patience without maybe calling it out as specifically as you do product price promotion.
We're constantly speaking to this until it's time not to.
Yeah.
And there's a point at which we say, guys,
remind them of their motivation.
Hey, our time, and especially now it's mid-July, I think some of our conversations the next few weeks do need to shift. I do think we need to start, and I'm jumping the gun because next week we're talking price reductions, but when we get there, I think that is the focus. There is a seasonal curve, and there is time where patience is the right word. And there's times where impatience is what we need to start thinking. Yeah. I think we're inching towards that in the next several weeks, where if you've got clients that do need to move this year, now is the time to start making adjustments.
Yeah, and position more aggressively, I think, is the way that I would start that conversation with clients moving into this new different season of the year. Yeah, absolutely.
I do like this conversation. The 3 Ps is powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I know we have it in our listing presentation, but it's an old clunky version.
Get it updated and make it a little prettier.
I think we should get this spruced up. Yep. And I do think it's, having just talked through this morning, I actually think this is a conversation that we should be embedding in. And I think you need to organize that script in your head.
Yes.
And think through how you do that organically and brush off that skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it right in your head first so that you can properly present it to your sellers. I think that's what you need to do. Thanks for this conversation today.
Yeah, this is good stuff.